Messi Co, Breaking Major League en la ciudad del sol. Here in Miami, we know who's el campeón. Leo my team, Suárez on the field, Alex wedding day team. Como que ya son win, the trio of everything, muchachos. Las familias se escuchan los barrios. Esta camiseta pinky la llevan todos los guachos. Los rookies quedan sin comentarios. Messi ambetea, tiki-taki gol. El estadio Chase bañado en gloria y sudor. Aquí se ama y se respeta el balón. Florida es tu casa, acostúmbrate al calor. Estate listo pa' Messi Co. Estate listo pa' Messi Co.
Hello, 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 hello. Happy Sunday. We don't normally record on Sundays, so I thought it'd be fun just to say early morning for us, but welcome to another special episode of Messi Co. here with my incredible co-hosts Gian and Matt. Happy Sunday, happy game day.
Happy Sunday.
Lots to talk about, but first and foremost, how we doing?
Muchachos, rise and shine. Que hoy juega Miami. We got the Florida Derby today, guys.
Is it called the Sunshine?
The Sunshine Class. Well, I don't know. What is it? The Sunshine
Classic El Sunshine. I don't know.
Forget.
I don't know what
there's so many names to this. There's no official name. There's a Sunshine State.
Yeah.
Game, the Florida Classic, the Florida Derby. The
point is, it's here. It's here. It's today. It's between our rival, if you want to call them that. They are in state, and it's a good day. Any day you can have a El Clasico, Sunshine, El whatever. It's always great. And I'm good. It's Sunday. I'm happy to see your faces. I got my cafecito right here in my hand. Yeah. Matt still doesn't have his matecito in his hand. I'm surprised on a Sunday. I don't know if Ash had a drink of choice, maybe a latte. I feel like
matcha.
A matcha. That would be my second. My second.
I know, very, very on brand for me.
But it's good. It's good. We're here together, and we're here to talk about Inter Miami and what's happened, what's going on, Leagues Cup, Orlando, a lot of good stuff.
Awesome. I'm sorry. I'm trying to find a really funny tweet from Scotty Gray about the names of what they call.
Hold on, I had that pulled up.
Here it goes. Here it is. So these are the names for the rivalry, and again, we'll talk about it at the end. But just so you know, the Sunshine Showdown, the Turnpike Tussle,
Turnpike. That's a good one.
The Pink versus the Pride, El Sun Pasico, the Florida Fire Line, the Sunburn Stakes, the Florida Frenzy, El Clásico del Sol.
El Sun Pasico, I thought was a extremely creative name. I thought that was very, very
I agree.
Funny.
The Turnpike Tussle, very funny as well. So shout out to our friends Sar and Scotty at Jive Pink Dialogue, because that's a very funny way of saying it. Awesome. All right. Well, I'm glad everyone's in good spirits. Lots to talk about. First and foremost, though, we are in the Leagues Cup quarterfinals after what was a really impressive, great, Messi-less victory versus Pumas from Liga MX. Liga MX. And before I get into like our thoughts on that, I wanted to just talk about how we know everything about football. People think we don't. We do. So check this out. Wait, sorry. Here we go. Ready?
Score, so I think it'll be 3. I want 3 goals. Suárez, Allende, and De Paul. Those are the guys that need to score. So I think it'll be 3-1 for us tomorrow.
Okay, so starting there. First of all, you got the predictions all correct. Pretty impressive.
Look, that's all Gian. We have to give that credit to Gian. I said I wanted Suarez to score, and
I didn't believe in Allende.
Gian, like, no, Suarez, Allende, and freaking De Paul is gonna score. So
yeah, it's crazy. After that, I thought I was having on a lucky streak, and I went and I played the little dollar thing at the lotto, and I didn't win anything. So I'm kind of
How'd it work?
about
Not
that.
well.
But hey, for the OGs that have been around for a long time, they know Gian. They know that streak of 3 games that I went on, almost 4.
I mentioned it. I mentioned it post match
where I guessed every scoreline to the T 3 games in a row. And unfortunately, that went down the drain rather quickly. But hey, I'm back, and I'm back better than ever. I not only am I predicting scores, but I'm predicting scorers. It's insane.
Yes.
And I almost predicted the actual order too. I was so mad. Like I was reviewing, and I went to review the tweet, and I'm like, damn, I missed.
What was the order? I forget. What was
it was De Paul. It was
no. How did you say it? How did you say it?
And Allende. I don't know.
That is the order.
No, I don't know. I don't think I got the order right, but if I did,
Paul scored first.
Yeah. So, and what did I say?
I think you said Suarez, De Paul.
You're saying
or something like that.
I
don't know.
45.
We'll give you a pass on that
at
one.
50 something, and then it was no, Suarez at 50 something with the penalty, and then it was Allende
later. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I don't think I got it right. But the point is, this is the beginning of a new streak, ladies and gents. From now on, tune in every week. I'll be letting you know exactly the scoreline and exactly who's going to score week in and week out. So if you're up for that and you're excited about it,
win some money,
maybe you're on Prize Picks, maybe you're use code 5 Reasons Sports.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know who's going to score?
Get some free. Can I tell you guys something? I won't tell any numbers, but I did a little, what is it called? A parlay. I'm like, after we spoke about it, I said these 3 players are going to score, and it was like plus 4,000 odds or something like that, and I won.
You lie.
So breaking news, Ashley's a millionaire now.
I'll send you a screenshot. Here's the problem. I bet $2. So,
dude, I was gonna say, if you were like a millionaire, I was about to send legal I was gonna go on like findalawyer.com.
Contracts would have been written up.
I was gonna go on Fiverr.
I'll send you a screenshot. But I Prize Picks, all that. I was like, let me try. Because I never do that kind of stuff, and I'm like, I don't ever want to spend more than like $2 or $3. It's more just like about the fun for me. But I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I won because they all scored. But so anyway, as you can see, the first thing I wrote in the in this description of the matches of the episode is De Paul dominating. So I think let's use that as the center point and basically discuss the game as a whole against a very good Pumas side from Liga MX, who have been showing up and showing out in lots of different ways, in recent times and in this tournament. So I'll start with you, Matt. What were your overall thoughts on the game, how it went, what impressed you, and specifically as our number 1 De Paul reporter, how you think he performed?
That's why I got the Argentina kid on right now.
Exactly.
It's a De Paul kind of day. It's a De Paul weekend right now.
But always a De Paul day.
Yes, absolutely. But I think so. I mean, overall with the game, I thought the first half we struggled a little bit. I mean, we let Pumas kind of. Well, I say we struggled a bit. We weren't as offensively threatening as we wanted to be. We were still getting chances. But I thought Pumas was playing good counterattacks. I think they had less chances, but they were more clinical. They were on target and et cetera, et cetera. The ball ended up getting that first goal he got the equalizing goal late in the first half from across from Suarez. It was his first goal for the club, getting 3 goal contributions in his first 2 games, I think it is. So he did a fantastic, and I thought we did a lot better in the second half with tactical changes. Mascherano bringing on Ian Frey for Chelo, which was amazing to see. And that honestly, I thought almost essentially completely changed the game for us. And we saw Suarez get a goal for the first time in a century. And we saw Allende get a goal for the first time when it feels like over a century too. So we got a lot of. It was very entertaining. We played a great second half, and I'm very glad that the boys were able to change it up tactically, or Mascherano was able to change it up tactically. The guys were able to react to it and play a phenomenal second half to win 3-1.
And that is with De Paul only being here for a week. That is no Messi.
Yeah,
and
no messing. I didn't even mention the no messing.
Incorporating 2 players who are just returning from long-term injuries in Ian Frey and Yannick Bright. So I think it was a Mascherano, for lack of a better term, just masterclass second half performance. Gian, what are your thoughts?
I mean, anytime you're missing Messi, it's going to be a game in which you need to adjust your play style. Their play style is always going to revolve around him, and I think they did an amazing job from the coaching staff to the players. Players stepped up. That's what you want to see when your star players out. Your star players stepping up, other players around doing what they're supposed to do, and what better example of that, like players like Allende, where they've been struggling. And I'm not going to say he stopped struggling after scoring, because we saw him miss a couple of chances, but he finally gets one in. And sometimes that's all you need for players that are your attacking players that are maybe not doing the best and maybe struggling to put the ball in the back of the net. When they finally get that one, hopefully that typically will open up their games later on, and from mental to there's different things that have to do with that. Same thing with Suarez. He had gone in a goalless streak. I think it was 8 or 9 games, and he finally scores, which is really good for him, for this team. He's been doing things other than scoring, even though you want to see more of that scoring. He's just been phenomenal with his hold up play, with his ability to be able to facilitate as well. So not only do you have Messi, but Suarez has been doing a lot of the facilitating, obviously not at the same level. And then you have De Paul, who you brought in here because of his ability to be able to, I think, add a whole nother dynamic to this team. Not only a box-to-box midfielder and someone that can help you on defense, but somebody that can also add to an attack that's already heavy on players that are really good in attack. And when we previewed this game, we said that Paul was going to play higher up. With no Messi there, he was going to take more of the playmaking abilities and just be all around, floating, being, helping in the midfield, at points looking like he was a second attacker. The ball, just, man, his ability to just be able to take a player and then that opens everything up was just on pure showcase in this game. And him scoring was just a cherry on top. So I really loved what I saw from this team. I think everybody did a fairly good job. And this is great leading up into this Orlando game where you're going to again play without Messi. It's just a world of confidence for this team, seeing that they have players that are going to show up in Messi's absence. So I thought it was a great game overall, a great scoreline for us as well.
Awesome, totally. And I want to just really quickly brush on what you said. We see a lot of the negativity towards Suarez on Twitter and /X. A lot of it I do think is justified in the sense of in the last 2 years, his goals scored has dropped significantly. No doubt about it. But I do think people are underestimating the other aspects of a striker that he does every game, and we say it. Is it enough to give you the right to be the starting striker if you can't score goals? Probably not, but I'm glad he scored because I think he's earned it in the fact that in the last few matches, his playmaking ability, his assists, his creation, his hold-up play, and the fact that he still is scaring attackers or excuse me, scaring defenders thinking he is gonna score, is still an important role to play.
And
So
let's remember, it's largely due in part to how he's being asked to play as well. So I think
he's following exactly.
it has to be, everything has to be taken with context, with a grain of salt, and knowing the fact that he's not playing the same role he did under Tata Martino as he is with Mascherano. So that's also impacts the way he plays, the amount of opportunities he has. He's being used differently. Do we all hope that, maybe his legs were a few years younger and that he ran more? Do we feel like this team, we may have also opinions that maybe this team would operate better with a different forward? All of those opinions are valid, but let's also know that he's playing the way he's playing in part because of how much Adano's asking him to play. So,
and also let's remember lastly, it's semantics, but part of Messi being part of Inter Miami, part of the fact that we're almost at this point, I think, at like a 98% confidence that he is extending until 2028 with a couple, ability to retire or whatever if he does. A lot of it has to do with the fact that he's been given, I would say, not permission, but has been able to bring in players that he feels comfortable with as he goes towards the end of the career. And Suarez is one of them. And the magic and the excitement this team is getting, it all works together. It's all good. And I hope it helps Suarez now get the goals back going. Last topic before we move on to talking about what will be our quarterfinal matchup. Yannick Bright and Ian Frey. I will start with this one. I will say for Cello, I don't think we've gotten any clarity in terms if it was injury related or if it was fatigue related or if it was tactically related. Has anyone seen anything about that?
No, but I think it was tactical.
So with that in mind, I'll tell you what, that's a bold ass move from Javier Mascherano to do that at halftime to do that, because Ian Frey is an extraordinary talent. And especially to your point, in games where you don't have Messi, in must-win games, I think you go with players who you feel have maybe more of that technical ability and playmaking ability or whatever it is that Ian Frey clearly possesses, and I guess had a good week of practice. So kudos to Mascherano for that. That's a tough decision to make at halftime when you're only down 1-0. Or no, we scored right before. So it's still tied in a must-win match. I was really happy to see. I think it's going to be, though, obviously continuing on, it'll be a back and forth of them playing. I don't think there's going to be a cemented starter for them too, because they're pretty similar. But also, we got to see Yannick Bright, and I've talked about this many times. I wish we can live in a world where we're able to see everyone. We're able to see Yannick Bright in every match, but once again, did exactly what was asked for him. Was able to be in every place at once. Great defensive work, great passing, great man coverage. Whatever you needed, he did. So I just wanted to
I agree. I would say it was tactical more than anything, because we also noticed that in the second half, once he made that substitution with Frey in for Cello, that's when you saw Busquets actually drop down and make that back line of three with Falcon and with Lujan, and then basically at that point Alba and Frey went into the midfield and they became like your left and right midfielders. So that was a change right away into the second half, and it coincides with that Ian Frey switch out for Cello. So to me, it was a masterful substitution, and it completely changed the second half. We discussed it a moment ago how it was kind of a different second half in the first, and that was,
and we may say more. We may see more of that, because I think for the first time really in the last couple of matches, I wouldn't say months, but matches, outside of a few of his magician balls, you're seeing Suarez, I think, or excuse me, you're seeing Busquets starting to tire a bit. So in situations where they can bring him in as a center back and able to have someone like a Yannick Bright with such a huge motor, I think we may see that type of adjustment happen more than more than we had before.
Can I also mention two substitutions? And we don't have to take a long time on this, but I thought it was just notable because you don't see it too often. The fact that Fafa Colt came on, Allende, I thought was good to see. Fresh legs,
and energy, dynamism.
So I thought that was great. And then also the fact that Luis Suarez actually came off the pitch. Even though it was already in minute 80, but I think that it was also something. Was it minute 80? Yeah, minute 83. Yeah. But I thought that it was also notable just because Suarez doesn't usually come off. He plays the full 90, and then it was the Kremaski that came in. So just kind of left Fafa Picot more as a forward, and then Kremaski a little bit more of a concrete midfield, just to make sure that at that point we were up already. So,
but they almost linked up.
Fafa had one or two chances where he almost scored too in those last 10 minutes. I mean, the game was over at that point, but maybe this was a trial in Mascherano's head, thinking there may be some situations that if Lewis is tired, I can maneuver some things around and bring Fafa there. So
and Matt, what were
another example of just really great knowing your personnel and knowing what they bring and maximizing it. So what do you think, Matt?
No, like really quickly, like Fafa had that flick back. I think it was like a header, like backwards header at the halfway line, and it
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he sent it right to Kremaski, and he had like that Kremaski had
Yep,
that
I know exactly
one-on-one,
what you're talking
which
about. Yep.
unfortunately he couldn't finish. But that's something due to inexperience, composure, and stuff like that. That's something that he can improve on over time.
Yeah.
But I thought this was probably the best Mascherano tactical game that we've probably seen in a long time, probably all season. I mean, like it just shows you what actually making substitutions and what making tactical changes shows in your game, because we're so used to seeing Mascherano just keeping the same thing um throughout like the whole 90 minutes. He doesn't really change
Yeah.
too
Yeah.
much, and which is, I guess, fair enough. You try to keep consistency, you have a game plan, you have an ideology, and you want to stick to it. Sure, fair play. But obviously when you see that something's clearly wrong with Chelo in that game, if you guys like, I was noticing that Chelo
I
was
know
being
a lot of
exposing us a
fatigue, I
lot.
think, too,
Yeah.
because he had to do a lot of running recently. Yeah.
He was just exposing us a lot on that right hand side,
Mhm.
either between the defenders, between him and Lujan. Don't get me started on Lujan, but but I thought he was a huge problem there. And then Mascherano realized it, he changed it, he fixed it, he adjusted, and the team played better. And that's just how you have to coach. That's how you coach, and you have to give him the props for that. Props to him as well for starting Yannick Bright over Redondo, because I think we all predicted
I
that
said
Redondo
Yannick
was going to
Bright,
play.
you 2 said
You said
Redondo,
Yannick
I
Bright,
said
Yeah.
Yannick Bright.
but me and Gian and I we're being more Mascherano reasonable and saying like, oh, there's no way like he'll
And I
start
was
Yannick Bright.
saying
So
Bright's better,
shout out to
so
Ashley
I
for
said
predicting
Bright's
that.
better. That's the end of my argument.
But he is, and literally nobody stops talking about Yannick Bright every time that he plays. The
Every broadcast,
commentators,
every
every
tweet.
single game, the
Yep.
commentators are like, Yannick Bright is amazing. He's playing fantastic. Like
And
they
everyone can't be
blaze
wrong.
Yannick Bright.
Yeah.
So that just shows you that everybody sees who this player is, what this player can do with this team. Whether it's next to Mascherano, whether it's next to Redondo, whoever his center mid partner is, that he deserves to be in a starting 11 in any team in the MLS. So props to starting Bright. Shout out to Bright for having a great game and for being back. Shout out to Ian Frey for being back from his injury. Hopefully we don't rush him too quickly in, because I want to see more of him. But
yeah, I think that'll keep
see
rotating
more.
for sure.
So yeah, no.
Last point on this match, the back line. Who were the 2 center backs who ended up starting? I'm blanking right now.
For against Pumas, it was
Lujan
Lujan
and
and Maxi.
Lujan and Maxi. Okay.
Mhm.
So we said Lujan was actually really our we thought it would have been Noah Allen or Aviles over him, but
Mhm.
Lujan, I think Mascherano in that case went for height and for just like straight up defending, and he's like, I'm gonna have trust in my wing backs and my midfield to do the rest. So it worked out. I think Noah Allen is going to continue to work his way back though into that starting left center back position sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great discussion. Great match. Good job, Mascherano. That's an example of, in your first professional year really of coaching a professional team. That's an example of you making adjustments, knowing your players, knowing your strengths and weaknesses, and figuring out what you can do without Messi. So
Mhm.
we give criticism when it's and deserved, but we also give praise when it's deserved. So, good job to Profe. I will say with that before we transition into what the quarterfinal is going to look like, this was a Messi-less match, as we know. Incredible result to get with a Messi-less match. In terms of injury update, didn't travel to Orlando for tonight's game. I love that they used the bright
I
line.
was just gonna say that. I'm like, we
I
couldn't
love
see
that they
Messi
did
on the
that.
bright line.
I think that's really fun. I
How is
think
the bright line not done an ad with Yannick Bright yet? How is that not something yet?
it may be. It may happen. Now that
Marketing
you
needs to
said
get
it.
on it.
Now that you said
Marketing.
it, it may happen. But I thought that's fun, in Europe, usually a lot of times they take buses from city to city. Obviously, in America, it's different because you're going to states, so it's normally flying. I think this was an opportunity to do something different, and I thought it was fun that they took the bright line.
So, the Inter Miami actually provided a bus to La Familia to head up to Orlando. Well, from what I heard, it's just one bus and it fits 40, and there's like 100 of them. So I don't know how they're.
Maybe they also were on the bright line. They had to pay.
I don't know if they're drawing picks to see who, or playing dice to see who gets to ride on the bus, but it's good that Inter Miami at least gave them a bus to head up there. So it'll be nice to see some Inter Miami fans over there.
100%. I just thought it was cool. I thought that's fun that they took the bright line. I don't know. Has everyone here taken it? It's pretty
I've never
cool.
taken the bright line.
I want to really bad. I have not yet done that.
I'm sure you. I mean, you probably really haven't had a reason to.
I've never had a reason to.
Well, there is a grilled cheese. It is cool. There's a grilled cheese shop that I want to go to in West Palm. So,
then you should. You and Anna should just pick a nice little day and go. It's fun.
Damn,
I do want to go. It just becomes a really expensive grilled cheese at that point, though. If you think
I was gonna say, like, you're spending like $150 on a grilled cheese.
They also, though, I will say, in West Palm Beach, they have this amazing weekend, like, what's it called? Like farmers market. Flea market, where it's like 3 blocks and it's closed off, super fun.
Is that where you get like cheap watermelons and cheap tomatoes and things like that?
Yeah, they have everything. They have cool stuff.
You guys can pay me to go get it, and then I can bring it to you.
I
Bright Line sponsor us too. Okay, cool. So next topic, obviously, outside of tonight's game, which I said we'll end with. The next most important thing on everyone's mind is going to be the quarterfinal game versus
Tigres.
So I've put here basically this tweet that Matt put out that I thought included some really great insights, and I thought we can kind of go through them. Can everyone see this clearly?
Yes. Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. Yep.
So first and foremost, we'll be playing Tigres in the final, in the quarterfinal. What's everyone's initial thoughts on Tigres?
This is a tough team. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I mean, I'm not an expert. Like I said, I'm not an expert on Mexican teams or Liga MX teams. All I know is that they got a couple of ballers on their side. I know they have Angel Correa. They have the experienced Guzman in net. They have I forget that one guy's name, but they have a couple of good players that we need to look out for. And obviously they're a Liga MX team, so it's going to be a physical team. So it's going to be hard. We're definitely going to be challenged.
Right now, I'm just looking at the Liga MX standing just for context, and it's not a really great representation since they've all only played 3 to 4 actual league matches. Tigres is 2 and Pumas is 14. So like, off the bat there's a difference of quality, but also like you said, it's still the beginning of that season. They do have players like Angel Correa, Diego Lanes, Brunetta, a lot of difficult players.
That's what the players want. Yeah.
So you're right. Last time we played them, 2024, there was no Messi, there was no Suarez, and now, of course, there was no De Paul. So I think that's important to take into consideration, right? Where we're going to see a different game than that game previously. Another thing, the game is only 2 days after our.
Okay, no, wait. Let me stop you here. I gotta correct. This is an error on my end. Okay. This tweet, I take full accountability for this tweet. I posted it. I made it. This tweet was posted before they confirmed the actual date. So I looked up on like Football and like SofaScore, and on those apps it said Tuesday at 4 p.m. So I'm like, okay, that's pretty weird, but let me run with it. And then literally an hour after I tweeted it out, they were like Wednesday 8 p.m.
Okay, so I didn't. That's my fault. I changed it to 8 p.m. I didn't change the Wednesday.
Yeah,
so it's 3 games.
I take accountability for that. That's my fault.
The truth is that Matt actually goes by the Greco-Roman calendar, which those days are.
He has the world ending next year. Yeah, so he's hoping for some trophies this year. Okay, so change that to Wednesday, but that's still to say. That's only 3 days to go from a game to a quarterfinal. That's still a short time period. So
Right, because we play Galaxy on that Saturday.
Right, and then we would play this Wednesday, which is normal in terms of midweek play, but it's a quarterfinal. It's not like we're in round of 16 or round of, anything like that. So that's something to take into consideration. I wonder if we'll see any rotation with the Galaxy, and I wonder if we'll see any Messi minutes. That'll be interesting to see. Your next point was it's single elimination, so win or go home, similarly to Pumas, but I would say with a much stronger intensity, right? Because now we're closer and closer to a semifinal, closer and closer to another trophy. Um, like you said, Messi may or may not be available for selection. According to Inter Miami, his training has been going well. He's been doing it separately. He's recovering well. Didn't travel for today. But based on what we've heard and based on how they speak, I think it seems like it's pretty mild and precautionary, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a few minutes on LA Galaxy so that he feels fully prepared for the game on Wednesday, in my opinion. We'll see.
Especially if it's home. I think, I wouldn't be surprised either if we saw a little bit.
And then this is a fun one. If they win, even if they don't win though, or I guess if they win, does that change schedules? Is that why you wrote that as a caveat?
If we win, yeah. So look, if we beat Tigres, and if Orlando beats whoever their opponent is, I think it's like I forget. I think it's Puebla or something. I don't know. But if Orlando beat their team, then it'll be Inter Miami versus Orlando in the semifinal.
I see. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's crazy to think about.
That possibility, yeah.
So those are, I think, really good insights by you there, Matt. So shout out to you on that one. That's those great points to make. So what's everyone feeling about that game? Gian, start us off. What do you think we need, or what do you want to see? Can we do it? Is it a winnable game? Is it an easy game? All of that stuff.
So I don't think the way that this team performed without Messi against Pumas was a fluke, and I think that they need to prove that to everybody today and play exactly the same way that they played against Pumas. I think they can. I think De Paul is going to be a protagonist again, and there's going to be a lot put on his shoulders. I think he's going to prove again why he's here. I think we're going to see a lot of the same. Suarez, a lot of facilitating, a lot of hold-up play. If I want something to change between last game and this game, it's going to be that Tadeo Allende takes care of the opportunities, puts away the opportunities that he's given, because if he would have, I think, done even the slightest bit of a better job, he would have at least gotten a second goal.
For sure.
So I think that that's what you want to see in terms of improvement from last game to this game. I think you also just want to see the continual strengthening of the relationship between Busquets and De Paul. Maybe you won't see it so much here because of the fact that De Paul will be higher up, but I would love to see a Yannick Bright start again. We'll have to see, because it's been mentioned numerous times that Bright maybe hasn't played as much or hasn't played a full 90 because Mascherano doesn't feel like he's up to it. Let's see what he does, against Orlando. Tadeo Allende, Telasco Segovia. I would like to see him continue his streak of games where he's been able to do well in attack. He's been able to shoot outside the box, which is something I love from him. It adds another dynamic to the team.
Scores golazos. Yeah. He hits that top corner every time.
Yeah, and it helps so much, I think, open up spaces for other players because of the fact that the opponent's defense always has to pay attention to him, even if he's outside the area, because he has that ability to put in that curling shot from outside. So I think that's great. And then just the defense. I think the defense really has been the most questionable part for a long time. We feel sometimes like we jump that hurdle and we're like, oh wow, the defense isn't that big of an issue. And then we see things happen like where there are questionable moments, and we look at Lujan, and then we ask who is the next guy up. Is it Noah Allen? Then Noah Allen is injured, and then Aviles comes in, and then we're a little iffy. So just continual, I think, progress in that sense. But I think that it's going to be a great game. It always is. Anytime it's against your rival. A shame that Messi isn't there. We saw Messi for some reason understands this rivalry. I don't know if they told him, hey, you remember when you used to play Real Madrid? Yeah, this is the same thing. You need to hate them. You need to. So we know how amped up Messi gets. So it's a shame he's not on there. But we have De Paul and Suarez, who I think can take the baton from him and be the guys that get in there and do the nitty gritty part of it, and so
what about the Leagues Cup match? The Leagues Cup match, what do you think?
As far as the Leagues Cup match is concerned, I think, man, you're facing a team that has a $20 million payroll, a team that invests a lot in their players, a team that is second right now in Liga MX for a reason. This is going to be one of the toughest opponents that you've probably dealt with this season. But
with the highest stakes,
the highest stakes. But I think use the experience you have as a team that you got in the Club World Cup, where you were facing these huge teams that you actually, people didn't expect you to do anything against them. People thought that Inter Miami wasn't going to even make it out of the group stage. They proved everybody wrong. So I think build on what you learned playing at a high level, world-class teams, and translate that into this game against Pumas. And if you can believe in yourself, this team has more than enough to get it done, with or without Messi. Now, Messi puts you over the top, but however this team plays against this Mexican side, I think that they have a chance. And then if you can get the same Mascherano that looks like prime Pep Guardiola, like he did against Pumas, then I think that gives you just another level above that'll help you get past this team. And the stakes are high, like you said, Ash, but they can do it.
The game base now, it's for August 20th, 8 p.m., which is 10 days from today. And I believe it was last Saturday we played, or on the 2nd of August, I believe, is when we played and Messi got injured. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was something around that.
I can look it up.
Yeah, because it wasn't midweek, because it wasn't the Leagues Cup game where he debuted. It was the second game De Paul played in, which I believe was against. Honestly, I don't remember. I'm sorry. You got to look that up for me.
The one where Messi got injured before De Paul came on?
Yeah. No, since De Paul, like for the first game.
I was against Necaxa.
The first is when Messi got injured?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
We won on penalties.
And what day of the week was that?
That was a Saturday, I believe.
Saturday, August 2nd.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what I thought. That's why. Okay, so it wasn't an MLS team, right? It was 3 Leagues Cup games in a row. I apologize. So realistically, that was the second. This game is the 20th. That's 18 days. If it's a minor strain and knowing Lionel Messi, I expect I'd be surprised if we don't see him play unless it's worse than people are letting on. But based on, I think when it's worse, they say very little. But Mascherano has been talking about it a lot, as has team messages. So hopefully it's minor. Hopefully, 18 days is enough time where he feels comfortable to be able to play. And again, maybe we'll even see him next Sunday. So that's to be determined. And again, I hope we find a world we live in where we can have Yannick and Messi play at the same time with De Paul and Busquets. But we'll wait to see. So let's finish this episode up with this. I know we've had a lot of topics, a lot of things to catch up on. Really curious if you agree, disagree, have points that we missed that you thought were important to talk about. Please leave it in the comments below, so that we can incorporate it into our next episode and talk about it. Rivalry. You mentioned it just now a little bit, Gian, but yeah, right now, Miami sit 5th in the Eastern Conference, Orlando 6th. It is a clear rivalry, and we will be playing without our best player. But with all of that said, I do believe we have a chance to win this match. And it'll be gritty. it'll be high stakes. It'll be full of that intensity that rivalry games bring, but it'll be exciting. And from an Orlando City side, who right now obviously is just literally one below us in rankings. They have Luis Muriel, who's been playing fantastic. I'd say sneakily, most importantly, their goalkeeper, Pedro Gillespie, is great. And he's a great shot shopper. And that's something we need to keep into consideration. A couple others that have been performing at a very high level as well. So it'll be a tough match. What are we thinking? I want us to give your thoughts on how the match is going to go. Give me your score line and give me who scores. You know the drill.
Oh yeah. I'll go first. I think I think genuinely, I think Orlando statistically and just based on table and standings and things like that, I think they've been doing pretty well this season. Considering the fact of the players that they have and the oppositions that they have, I think they're like somewhat similar with Inter Miami when it comes to the consistency with their with some of their players, or some of their, because they have really good players, obviously. But I think they've been in really good form recently. What I've noticed, I think, from the research I was doing a little bit yesterday, is that they could be offensively they could be a little bit inconsistent when it comes to, depending on the opposition. So they create a lot of big chances, but they don't finish most of them or some of them. Like they could be like Tadeo Ashende, like, you know what I'm saying? Like they could have a lot of opportunities and then just like not finish. So if that is the case tonight, then we could be looking good, because if our defense is going to be able to handle a lot of maybe balls coming in, whipped in crosses, passes in the middle, I think that we're going to be, hopefully that we should be able to lock it down, as long as we don't play any low block, anything that allows us to soak up pressure. I think if we allow that, then maybe we could be a little bit of trouble. But I think with the form that Suarez has been in, I think with De Paul kind of being on fire the last couple of days since he's arrived, and hopefully with Tadeo, the new confidence that hopefully Tadeo Ashende has in from the last game, along with the defense with Maxi, with Lujan, Frey, whoever, I think we should be very prepared for this game. And I think riding on the bright line would be a lot better than riding on a plane in terms of just mentally and
or
physically.
A bus.
Yeah. Or a bus.
It's fun that they got to do that. I thought that was a cool touch.
Yeah. But no, I think, and for scores, let me see. Hold on. I want to be
high
like,
stakes now. This is the most important part of every episode. The
bar, like right here. So I think it's gonna be a high scoring game. I think if you look back at the history between Miami and Orlando, like it generally it'll be like at least 3 goals would be scored from one or the other. Like the last time we played, we lost, but it was 3-0. The last time before that it was 2-2. Then it was a tie. Before that, 5-0. Like it's always high scoring.
Right.
So I think it'll probably be another high scoring game. We definitely have to seek revenge from the last time we played them. I think we could score 3 again tonight. I think we could score 3 again. And I know that's asking for a lot, maybe, but
maybe not. The way they played the second half, they could have scored like 7.
Look, we have to set the bar. We have to set the bar high. This is a rivalry. We can't hold back against these guys. So I think we're gonna score 3. I think Orlando might score 2. I think it'll be a 3-2 battle, fight to the death, and I think it's gonna be. I think Suarez. I don't know, man. I think Velasco Segovia is gonna score. I think Velasco's gonna score. I think Suarez is gonna score, and I think
Suarez 2 games in a row.
I think Suarez is gonna do back-to-back. And I think for the last one, I'm gonna say
Rios Nova.
I want to give it to Ashende, but not really. You know what I'm gonna give it to? I'm gonna give it to Kremaski. I want to see if Messi is going to
Oh
score.
wow. He had
that's my wild card.
Remember that golazo header he had in, I believe, Chicago?
That's my wild card. Yeah, he's only scored once this season, but I think he'll do it again against Orlando.
And I think he'll have more minutes tonight as well.
Let's see. We'll see what happens.
The second half it worked when he came in. I'm gonna go next because since you, Gian Shadamas, I'll let you finish it off.
Yes.
For me, I'll go a little less detailed and a little simpler, simply because I don't know if my heart can handle a 5-goal game. I'm a tired lady, I won't lie to you. So I'm gonna go with a 2-1 Inter Miami victory. My goal scores. This is where it's challenging every week. It really is. It's gonna be Allende. I'm gonna give him a chance to get that second, and it's gonna be Suarez. I want them to build a streak, and I hope everyone scores, but I'm choosing these two specific people for the sole reason of I want them to get back in consistency of scoring. So that's what I want to see. 2-1 Inter Miami. Stradamus, finish us off.
I'm gonna go a little different than what you both did, simply because I was
7-4.
I was gonna go 3-2, and then Matt said 3-2, so I'm gonna go 2-1, and then I said 2-1. So I'm going to.
We can agree. All three of us were right last game.
Gian's unoriginal. It's comfort. No, I'm kidding.
All right, so don't come at me because of this. Well, let me preface with number one. Orlando is, I think, in a really good on a roll right now. They're doing really well. Before going into Leagues Cup, they won. They won their last 2 games in league play. They not won. Sorry, they won 5-1 against Red Bulls. Then they actually tied Cincinnati. So they were on a unbeaten streak, short but unbeaten streak. They were doing well. Then they went into Leagues Cup and oh no, actually I was looking at the wrong one. Apologies.
Wait, I'm like, yeah.
No, apologies. I was looking at the wrong one. Sorry. So they beat New England 2-1, and then they beat Columbus 3-1. And then they went into Leagues Cup and they tied Pumas. They went to penalties. Then they beat Atlas 3-1, and then they beat Necaxa 5-1. So they're actually doing really well, right? Going into this game.
They didn't make it though, did they? To the Final Four. Oh, they did.
Who didn't make it?
Oh, right, because you said we'd play them in the semis.
Yeah,
they are one of the 4 MLS. Oh, yeah, you're right. So they're in great form. Yeah.
No, they're in really good form. They're 4th in the standings in the Leagues Cup, which is why they made it through. So I think they're doing. They're an Orlando team. We're facing a really well oiled machine right now in Orlando. They've done very well, and I think the difference obviously is we're doing pretty good too, but we're going in there without Messi. Now, if we didn't have De Paul, I would probably be a lot more pessimistic. Obviously, it's not the same, but I think that it definitely does help tremendously. And because of that, I think it's going to be a competitive game for Inter Miami, despite being without Messi. That brings me to the point of I think it's going to be a tie game.
Yeah,
I think that it's going to be a tie game because
they happen.
Orlando's playing very well, and we're without Messi. Yeah. And De Paul is going to help us get that tie away from home in a hostile environment, in a game that we know can get chippy, and you need leadership in those chippy games to settle your team down, to be able to guys that you have the bodyguards in there and that protect your players. You have Suarez and De Paul. So I think it's going to be an even game. I'm going with a 2-2 draw. I'm going with a game from Jordi Alba, because we've seen Jordi Alba when you least expect him and you need him the most. He comes in clutch in these games. So I think he's going to go ahead and score. And I think that I think this is going to be a game too where it's going to be tough for Inter Miami to get inside and get those goals where, you know, they put a pass into the area and maybe a tap in. I don't think we're going to see a lot of that. And we're going to need the last goal from outside the area.
Great shout.
So I think it's going to be 2-2. And it'll be a good result for this team because they're going to be away from home against your rival without Messi. I think a 2-2 is a good result, even though I do want the win. And I think a 3-2 or a 2-1 can happen, but I'm going 2-2 on this one.
That's good. That's a great analysis. Very fair. I will say this. You've sort of convinced me. I'm not going to change my original prediction. This won't go against it. But I can see a world where it would be a Segovia goal instead of Suarez, and I would see Segovia and Allende scoring. I can see that happening, but I'll stick with my guns on my original one.
Okay. Feel free to bet. We're using
yes. Feel free to bet.
Well,
again, but bet a little more this time.
Yeah, Prize
got
Picks.
you.
Let us know. We let's get into that. You know, we can have some fun with that. But overall, as always, great episode, boys. A pleasure. Lots of great things happening. The pack schedule continues the rest of this month. We're going to be seeing a lot of high stakes matches, both in and out of the league. So we will be there every step of the way. As always, make sure you are following us on X, formerly Twitter, at Messi Co. As you've been seeing, we've been putting a lot more content recently. Lots of cool stats, graphics, clips, news, all that stuff. We'll be covering tonight's game, all of the action as it happens. And as always, we love to hear your thoughts and your comments and your replies and your thoughts. So keep that up. Subscribe on YouTube, 5 Reasons Football. These episodes are going to keep coming. We're going to probably do a live one this week, so we'll let you know when that's going to happen because we love interacting. So get ready for it. On that note, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Everyone, hope you're tuned in for tonight's match at 8 p.m. versus Orlando. And have a great rest of your day. For this episode of Messi Co, I'm Ashley. That is Gian. That is Matt. And we will see you next time.
See you guys.